Hello, my dear Capricorn. Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited for this reading in particular because we are moving into that new year with 2021. We're leaving 2020 behind, and aren't we all excited for that? There's so much magic in the air with this 2021 energy. There's so much transcendence happening. You know, we just moved into the age of Aquarius. We had this beautiful transit between Saturn and Jupiter that really led us forward into this conjunction. So let's move forward here into the reading that we're going to do for you all today. We'll take a moment for some deep breathing. We'll take a moment to clear the energy space and just sort of tapping in, because I think some of you are just so ready for that. This new communication with source energy, there's release work that's happening with the new year. There's some vision boarding coming through for most of the signs that I've been doing, which is really embracing this unique magic self that is you. So really just breathing that in, really just taking all of the gunk and the old from 2020 and really consciously releasing that as we move into this reading, as we move into the 2021 energy. And so we'll dive in here by first explaining the spread and a little bit of what we're doing. We'll be going around in a circle. This is the past, your mindset, the messages from the spirit realm, and you got 2 today. And then we have the forward movement into your future, the center here, and then the Lenormand is led like a sentence. And then I do apologize, I'm a little covered in paint. We've been doing some renovations here at home, so don't mind that. So let's begin here with the center. And I believe Aquarius got this card as well. We have this big picture. So there's a new perspective coming forward for the earth at large, really. And you're going to be seeing sort of this bird's eye view. You're going to be seeing from a new perspective. It's a little bit like the veil being lifted. You know, a lot of people are talking about the global meditations. Spirit guides are going to be a little bit more attainable, a little bit easier to communicate with. So you're going to see yourself really in a new light. You're going to be seeing yourself with a new sense of power, a new sense of direction that before you did not see. So we'll dive deeper into what that means and what that is for you in particular. Let's move into the past here. We have sacred space. So this is a bit of a hermit energy, you know, which haha, we had 2020, right? So we have closed down a little bit. So quite the opposite of this bigger picture here. But I love that she's sort of planting a seed, and that seed itself is actually a key. And in the oracle messages on all of my different decks, and you know, in tarot as well, the key is about ideas manifested. They are about planting ideas for the future. And then we have this sacred space, which is sort of that sacred ground, the fertile ground that is laid before us. It's like the conditions that we have been led through. It is a space in our home sometimes that is full of trinkets and beautiful things that are unique to us, that maybe were passed down through generations. And then we circle ourselves in this medicine wheel, which is exactly what we're doing. The past, the mindset, the spirit messages, and then forward action here. So we're following sacred symbols. We are progressing in this beautiful awakening, and you have a part to play in that, Capricorn. So you're going to start seeing this excuse me, this beautiful understanding that when you rest, when you give yourself space, you then come back stronger. An aspect of that coming forward. So now we have your mindset. Oh my goodness, the medicine wheel again. Wow. So you can see here that these are the same. One is the medicine wheel in general, and one is you inside of the medicine wheel. This is quite literally a healing ceremony that Native people have performed, where you go into this, my puppy is here to say hi. She's going to hang out in your reading today. So maybe you have a connection to dogs because she hasn't been hanging out for all of the signs, but here she is to get very nice and comfortable. So cute. Okay. You are cycling through. That's the biggest concept here at the medicine wheel, is a movement. The wheel is all about progression. So as you are diving into maybe some inner reflection, some intuitive work, also know that you are moving, you're progressing, slow and steady wins the race, all the things relevant to that. Now your messages from the spirit realm, we have dream time, meditation, astral projection, journeying. We have these little wisps coming up from his head, and then we have these images here that kind of resemble a face, but it's just a matter of having that kind of understanding of universal guides, of universal source energy, of the divine, right? And then we have, excuse me, the peyote ceremony, which, yes, there is such thing as peyote. You can go outside upstairs. You have a dog tour. Okay, so you have this water bird here, and this is actually the symbol of the Native American church. And it's because all of the spiritual progression that can be done is all about self-reflection. And we have this sort of going down the rabbit hole here and spiraling into sort of the inner reflection, what all that means. So we have the divine mirrors here. And I love that the keyword is new abilities. Give me one moment, I'm gonna let the dog out. Okay, so we have this beautiful deep dive happening within you where you are looking at your inner reflection, but you're also looking at the outer expressions of what's coming in from your outside experiences, right? So looking at your surroundings and saying, where is the manifestation that I have created? Diving deep into that responsibility, but also finding that peace of mind that comes from knowing that you do create your reality. And the ability to create is so profound, and it's such a powerful realization. And again, it's all about perspective shifting. So you're seeing these ideas in a whole new light, in a whole new way. And it's quite beautiful here how it progresses. So your forward movement into the future here is a returning home to Mother Earth. So a similar message here. There's this sacred space where you feel at peace, where you jive and you are home and you feel protected and safe. There's a lot of safety coming through for all the signs. And this is really the message of 2021. Really, this is the message of the full moon that's here in Cancer. And you're going to feel sort of those warm and fuzzy energies where it's like cuddling up to the fireplace with a nice mug of hot chocolate, right? This is kind of the energy here. This is Mother Earth energy, a protected energy where you feel comfortable diving deep within yourself. You feel comfortable going within and seeing those parts of you. And it's not something that is scary or yeah, it's not insignificant is what they're saying, a double negative there, but you are a significant piece of this puzzle and you're going to come to terms with that, Capricorn. And again, there's a little bit of responsibility there and that can sometimes be scary, but you're safe and you are protected as you move through that progression. So let's read the Lenormand here like a sentence. You have a choice here. Strong opener. Okay, a choice to carry burdens or have this sort of oppression energy. And then we have this communication here with the gardens. So this is about community. This is about outreach. This is about your family or your community around you. We have the book. Beautiful. So maybe some research that you're going forward with, some schooling you might be going forward with. Communication again with the birds. You know, the birds are about chatter, they're about chit chat. Okay, so we'll come back to that. Communication, very, very forward here. Then we have the Empire. This is the Tower card, but it's not like the traditional tarot tower where it's like upheaval and upsets and lightning bolts, you know, forcing you to jump out of the highest tower. No, this is more about your empire, what you're building. So we begin with a choice, we end with an empire. So what I'm feeling is no matter what you choose, it will be correct. Okay, so it's almost, let me just think on this for a second. Do I do it the traditional way that feels quite oppressed and suppressed and it feels very heavy? Or do I talk to professionals? Do I network? Do I go online? Or do I go to school? Or do I talk about it with, again, like the professionals that I know who are doing this idea? And you'll know what it is. It might be a business plan. This might be a new endeavor of some kind that I feel you are pursuing that has a lot to do with the inner you. This is like really diving deep to find that soul purpose. And as you find that soul purpose, you're talking about it, and in sharing it, you get out of this sort of funk, that hermit energy, and you move more into that protected energy. Oh, it's safe to do so. Oh, it's safe to choose this direction. So let's move forward here into what is the energy that's been suppressed up until now. Okay, so there's some healing to be done, some cleansing here. We have this woman who's kind of laying down, and then she has her pearls of her necklace that are falling upwards. It's like she's being sucked up. You know, it's like this aspect of rebirth or death card, if you will. But the actual keynote here is a detox, a need for a cleanse, perhaps. And it says restore yourself. Very beautiful repeat message here. Going within can sometimes be, I don't want to say difficult, but it is definitely time for you to look at what's no longer serving you, right? It's like this sacred space here. If your bedroom or living room or home in general is cluttered, things are out of place, things don't feel flowy, you know, the vibe is off, you will not feel ready to study. You will not feel ready to have people come over. You will not feel ready to build your empire because it doesn't feel safe to our psyche, right? It feels like a burden is around us. It feels like there's too much cluttered up. And our body can be the same way. So whether this is physical, emotional, or spiritual, there's some cleaning up to do. Whether it's a healing, it could even be past life healing. It could be going into what's holding you back, what's keeping you stuck, what you're carrying around. You know, this is quite literally the cross from Jesus's back, you know, and not to bring too much Christianity into this, but the concept remains the same. There's oppression here. And I mean, how fitting for the year that 2020 has been. But you're ready to release, you're ready to detox and cleanse. And in doing so, it moves you forward. And that's what the most important piece is, that you are propelling. It's like the pedals on a bike. You have to push and push and push, but then it gets easier. And then you get to coast, right? So at the bottom of the deck here, we have Euphoria, and it says honor yourself. This is some Phantom of the Opera vibes. I love it. But this is a masculine energy here, more like a spirit guide coming in to say like, hey, straighten your crown. Hey, stand up straight. Hey, be here, be present, and do what you know to do. This is a very strong forward energy. It could be a spirit guide of yours, like an ancestor of any kind, coming forward and just saying, yes, it's time for you to straighten your crown. It's time for you to straighten up. Somebody that's coming through very clearly. And, you know, it could be straightening up your surroundings because let's be honest, it's going to make you feel better. Okay, it really, really is. So let's dive into what you are cognitively sort of going through, excuse me, what you're kind of expressing through your mindset. What mindset is Capricorn going to be really focusing on right now? Wow. There's an awakening happening with you, Capricorn, with all of us. As I mentioned, really diving out of 2020 with gusto. You know, it's like, I'm so excited to just not be in this 2020 mess anymore. I'm going to straighten things up. I'm going to take responsibility for what I can. I'm going to look at it with a new set of eyes, which we see here and here. This new energy here of awakening, of moving forward with grace. Wow. The bottom of the deck here is perception. Again, we have this idea of the masks. There's like this masquerade. She has her mask in her hand, but it's not on her face, which is beautiful. And in all of my Oracle card decks that I do have, if the mask is on, there's something you're not seeing. But when the mask is off, it's saying, okay, I'm free now. I'm free to see this differently. And it's beautiful. Now we'll move forward into what your spirit guides have to say in order to make this forward movement a little bit easier on you. Beautiful. We have anticipation. I absolutely adore this card because this is the energy of the final step in manifestation. We manifest by setting intentions, and in doing so, in concentrating on where we're headed, all we have to do is have this quiet, gentle anticipation that says, yes, this is coming to me. Yes, I'm certain that it's mine. And we relax, right? Again, so it's like pushing those bike pedals and then just being like, oh, finally, I've worked enough and now I'm coasting. Now I'm safe to just let go of that need to progress. I'm ready to let go of that need to move forward and, you know, go, go, go all the time. And you tap into rest. You tap into perception and inner knowing. And it says, something wonderful is happening. Change is in the air. Open yourself to blessings that are on their way. Really gorgeous reminder there to just relax and let things come. And at the bottom here, we have rebirth, which is coming through for many of the signs. It says, no matter what happens, you can find new wings. Rise from the past, accept the positive change that is coming. So we have the root and the solar plexus chakra shining through here. And I love the similarities between these two cards. The energies are quite similar. A detox and a cleanse allows you to awaken to new perspectives, which we see here, and with all the masks from the bottom of the cards. So much is happening here for you, Capricorn, and it can feel a little bit overwhelming. But your guides are here to say, the illusions are gone. You know, we're kind of understanding that the rulers are, you know, corrupt or incorrect. And so there's that quote in a song, I believe the artist is Cruella with a K, and it says, when the world appears to be burning, get up and run it. And that is the energy of 2021. Finding the energy to clear out, declutter, whatever that means for you in your mindset, in your chakras. And then we have this alignment happening here and this action step, this forward movement. And the very next card here is transition. So a forward movement of transformation, moving into something brand new, right? So lots of repeat messages coming through for you. Now let's dive into what's going to be expressed. What are you going to be, let's see, let me grab the right cards here. What are you expressing, Capricorn, as you go into this new state of being? The well. Wow. You're diving in with no fear. Okay, there's nudity here, which of course we have to love when that comes through in our cards. It says, seeking truths, wisdom, insight, intuitive knowledge, returning to the source, getting to the bottom of things. So let me get another card to have side by side here. You are quite literally breaking chains, and it's powerful. So this deep dive here is so similar, and I love that. And these are two very different decks. One is Native American and one is Chinese. So quite a duality there in the different cultural differences, but how incredible and synchronistic it is that they are so similar and they come through for you. You are diving into the depths of your soul. You are seeing new heights, new depths, and it's creating a new perspective that takes the mask off, that dissolves the veil between life and death, between earth and spirit, between ether and our worldview. So you're diving into higher knowing. And we see it here as well. This is a new dedication for you. Something that really calls you forward. It asks a lot of you, and you're going to need to set up some boundaries here. Some respectability that says, you know, I need my space as I go through this pretty massive transformation. But you're not alone in this, because we have spirit guides coming through all over the place through this reading. So let's dive into the aspects of you that are coming forward so that you can move forward in this transition in the path of least resistance. Okay, what parts of Capricorn are coming forward, getting stronger? Wow. Okay, so, sorry, the glare is a little impossible here. Okay, there it is. The wound is where the light gets in. This is a water energy, a 9 of water, 9 of cups, right? This doesn't really follow the traditional tarot, but there's an aspect here of vulnerability, but also this beautiful light shining down, rejuvenating you, creating a rebirth for you, right? So you are seeing things in a whole new different way. And the new abilities that are coming forward for you, this reward for the deep dive that you're doing the inner work, doing that shadow work, if you will, is finding that part of yourself that gains power from this energy here. Vulnerability and pain and, you know, hogwash of the world, it breeds beautiful people. Because we are able to see contrast. And sometimes the contrast is enough to propel us forward. Wow, okay. And so, I want to put these side by side, because this is a fire card here. I apologize, my dog is on the other side of this wall now. So she may be playing with some toys on the deck, and you may hear it. We have a snake here, we have the cauldron here, a lotus flower opening, and we have a cat here, which is all about intuition. But look at the hands over the heart. It's like, here is how I release, here is how I contain. The water is about flowing through, about releasing outwardly. And the fire is about creativity, transformation, moving forward, pushing those bicycle pedals. This is about taking a break. This is about moving upwards. Very beautiful duality coming forward to help you move into more of that safe space. I love how the shell here, which is your future outcome, is about returning home, being one with the universal sources, being one with Mother Earth. And it brings you right to the next step, which is this sacred space, that home feeling, more of those comfy, cozy vibes, which is precisely what this full moon in Cancer is doing for all of us. So let's move forward into what is the momentum that is driving Capricorn right now? What is the energy moving us forward? Okay, so we have 3 cards here. And we begin with healing. We already knew that, right? Very similar here. But it may be worth looking for some sort of spiritual coach or a life coach of sorts. Someone to walk you through this. Because I love that we have the green woman here, or perhaps a green man. It's a very non-binary deck. And I wouldn't have it any other way. But we have the standing stones here, and in the background we have this barren landscape. And in tarot and oracle, that's important. And so, you know, the person seems very desolate, the surroundings look very desolate, but then we have this protected space of the sacred stones. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up, you all. This is the same concept here. A healing taking place inside of these standing stones. Some of you may be called to stones, crystals, sacred places. And so, again, the wound is where the light gets in, and you're going to come so full circle in that, and I love it. Then we have the journey card. This is somewhat of a death card. We have the number 13, which could be lucky or unlucky, you know. But this is a crow, and the crows are all about magic, about seeing the void, right? So it's like having that shamanistic experience, because I feel that some of you are really feeling that desolate, little bit of a hopeless feeling of being deceived, feeling of being knocked down and kicked while you're down, and it's just been really frustrating. But the crow and the raven, I forget which one is which. I think this one is a raven, yes, because he has a black beak, right? So this is the raven spirit. Very much still that message of the void, of that black space, magic, connectivity with the divine. And they took a vow with universal sources to clean up the earth after the other animals have had their share. So we have this skull here. The other animals like the lions and tigers and bears, you know, they've had their share. And now the crow here is here to tear apart what's left, to leave pieces for the mice or the ants or what have you. And they intuitively are scavenging, looking for the next step in that decomposing, yes, composting experience for the world, for the betterment of the world, right? So then we have the wolf here. And the wolves are great teachers. The wolves are leaders of the pack. They also rely heavily on their community. There's the aspect of trust here, of power, leadership. So you're going to be yes, and I'm breathing heavily because I just keep seeing and feeling and hearing you're going to see things in a new way. And I'm just trying so hard to reword that in a new way, right? Because you're seeing things anew and you are leading this perspective shift. Okay, so you are seeing new light come in, not just for you and your healing experience, but also lifting this massive burden from the world and leading the transformation forward. So I'm going to set him on the bottom of the deck here. And we're going to dive into the animals that will be assisting you at this time. What animals do we have assisting Capricorn as they go through this transformation, finding their spirit guides, finding their inner knowing, diving down the deep well? What animals are assisting? The turkey. I love him. This is such a good concept here. It takes me back to the concept of Thanksgiving and how misconstrued it all was. You know, the settlers were just like, yeah, let's feast. Just to give thanks for the abundance of, you know, this community, for the abundance of all. But the native people were trying to teach a lesson in manifestation that said, the universe celebrates gratitude. And when you give gratitude, you give thanks, thanksgiving. When you give that, you receive abundance beyond your wildest dreams. And you have this quiet anticipation for more to come. This isn't just one day a year to celebrate community and to come together and feast. No, this is about the more thanks that you give, the more that you can give the universe, as far as releasing what no longer serves you, as far as seeing the parts of you that are ready to be released so that you can let the wound open up and allow the universe to come forward with light and replace that heavy energy with lighter, brighter, awakening energy. So a very beautiful reminder here that the law of attraction is real, that manifestation is real. I have chills all over because you are awakening to that truth, that you have a responsibility to this earth, you have a responsibility to yourself to dive deep into what is keeping you stuck, what is stopping your momentum. Dive in to what you're being called to. Okay. The other animal that is assisting you now, the groundhog spirit. So there's retreat energy here. And I really love the synchronicity because we have the returning home to Mother Earth. We have the sacred space around you. We have cleansing, healing, awakening. This is all very private, Capricorn. This is all very in tune. And the groundhogs, they pop their little faces up, and, if they see anything that scares them, they're back down again because that is how they survive. And they have these intricate patterns under the earth, and they have these nests down there full of trinkets and, beautiful bracelets and things that they've found. I mean, there's probably diamonds and all sorts of things under there in their sacred space where it's nice and protected. And they go and retreat down there and nothing can harm them. And so a lot of farmers will say that prairie dogs or groundhogs or ground squirrels, whatever you want to call them, are a huge problem because they're so difficult to find. And for you, Capricorn, that could be a survival technique. Be hard to find. Be so deep in your journey that you're not available for anyone else. And at the bottom, you just cannot make this up. We have the crow here, which is a standard for law of attraction, manifestation, right? So here we have the orange beak. So the other one here is more of the raven spirit. But they're very similar in their message, which is this journey is yours and yours alone. This is an intuitive journey. This is about containment. This is about diving deeper. And you're here to really create some massive amounts of change, Capricorn. We have rebirth. We have masks coming off. Yes, there's some healing to be done that we see here. There's some release work, and I love how there's orangey, colors, because that solar plexus tends to be where we house the the ickiness of the world. You know, we tame it down, we suppress it down, and the universe is here to say, don't hang on to that stuff. My apologies, my dog is really trying to get back in the house. I'll go get her in just a moment. But yes, we have containment here. We have anticipation for what's to come. We have the ability to move forward with this rest. And also, as you're resting, you are seeing things. Goodness, if the universe says one more time, you're seeing things with a new light. You're seeing things in a new perspective. I'm just, going to start getting frustrated because, yes, we know. We know you are diving deeper. You are going down the rabbit hole to see a bigger picture. And, a lot of this diving deeper, a lot of this research into the unknown, it reminds me a lot of the Akashic Records, the space between atoms, the interconnected A field that Einstein talked about, and, the ever-reaching, totally boundless space that the Sanskrit people talked about, and Native Americans talked about, this dream time, this other world, other side, and we can access it as humans. We can dive into it and see our own personal perspective of it, but we can also dive deep into it to find our spirit guides, to find our ancestors that have passed on, to have conversations with those people or beings. There are so many beautiful things to find, to research, and to dive deep into. So if you're feeling called to that deep dive, that shadow work, if you will, and it doesn't scare you, to dive into that containment, to dive into and research what it is that propels you forward, to give of yourself to the universe, right? We have this release work going on here, and then tapping into that anticipation, the manifestation of your empire. You have an empire to build. And it's beautiful. You have a lot of progression happening. There's an aspect of letting go. There's an aspect of quiet anticipation for what's to come. So perfecting your ability to manifest is going to be key here. Perfecting your ability to see the next step before it happens. Very key here. And how to do that? Dive into things like the Akashic Records or meditative journeying, whatever you want to call it. Diving into this idea of compost, releasing what's no longer serving you and allowing yourself to grow from that. And then housing and containing that energy, transmuting that energy into safety. Feelings of I am secure and safe to move forward here. I am safe and secure to relax a little bit. Take that time out, Capricorn, because this is a calling for you to understand your awakening matters. I love these purple colors up here at the top here, creating a mirror image of each other, awakening and anticipation. You are awakening yourself. And we almost skipped right over this. This is a very cohesive message, again, of your ability to meditate and see things, your ability to find that part of you that is progressing and celebrate that transformation. Sure, you're releasing, you're letting go of a lot of things, but you're also awakening to a lot of new things. And it comes forward for you quite strongly, Capricorn. So I'm hearing discredit. Do not discredit what you already know, what you've already seen, what you've already released, but don't be afraid to do it again and again and again. That's what's interesting about a healing journey. We don't just heal something and it's one and done. That's not the way it works. You heal something and then the next day you wake up and something reminds you of that thing and you're just like, I just healed that. But the point is to transmute that energy quicker than before. The energy of releasing comes easier and easier every fall that comes around, right? So you have this aspect of knowing what to do and then taking that action. So if you would like to dive into that Akashic Records that I mentioned, this deep well, this meditative journey that you're going through, this shadow work, this reflection, this research, let me know. I'm running a massive sale for the new year, 221, where it's usually 444. So that we can go into this new year, raise the vibration of the planet, because I find it to be so important, and I feel as though it needs to be in the hands of people like you, Capricorn, who feel that call, who are going through the healing journey, who are looking to progress with your spirit guides, who's looking into manifesting, creating a safe space for others. This is about the next 7 generations, your children and their children after them. What are we cycling through? What are we giving them as far as a world to live in? And then taking that understanding of, well, now I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, right? I don't want to do that. That makes me want to take a nap. And it does, because it's so big. It's a massive undertaking. But this is part of your empire. You have something massive that you're working on, and it's clear here. So if you're looking to launch a business, to be an entrepreneur, let me know that too, because I am a spiritual online coach, a business coach. I can help you propel yourself forward. I can help you to strategize and create a plan, right? And some of you may be wanting to do a little bit of this deeper work, maybe do some Akashic Records work, maybe buy your own set of cards, or, dive into more of that Mother Earth energy, working with some stones, working with crystal grids, maybe that's where you're guided, and that's okay. But let me know, you all, because I have the personal readings that I'm giving away for $21. I know people are calling me crazy because it's just going to make me so busy, but that's okay. I love doing these readings, and if it's a personal reading, I can tell you, a little bit deeper into which concept is calling you more. This is a general reading, so it's just a generalized version. And the personalized readings go a little bit deeper. I collect all the cards and tell a story, much like the Lenormand, where it's read like a sentence. I collect all of your cards and get all of the bottoms of the deck and add those all into. So there's always ways to dive deeper. I have so many different options and services for you all to take advantage of and to take on, so that you have that support. So you have that one-on-one feeling of that safety and security of, okay, I'm going through this and it's really scary and it's really weird. And, my solar plexus is just on fire and my creative abilities are just on fire, but I just don't know how to bridge that gap. And that's okay, Capricorn. Use the energy of this full moon. Use the energy of the new year and allow yourself to propel yourself forward like those bike pedals. You're pushing those bike pedals, and now 2021 is going to be this energy of coasting and having that time to research things that light your soul on fire and to talk to it. Talk about it to people in your community so that you're seen as that leader, so you're seen as that respectable person, because I do feel that that is important to you, Capricorn. So I hope this reading was helpful for you. I am going to be doing weekly readings, so I hope to see you all here next week. Of course, I appreciate your likes, shares, subscribes, comments, all of those things. Please do that just to help me out, as this is a new channel that I've just launched. So I hope to see you all next week. Thank you all so much for being here, and I hope you had a wonderful holiday break. I hope you are all wonderfully looking forward to this new year. I will see you all next week. Bye.